Do you want to know? Are you sure you want to know? Huh? Because the truth ain't always what it seems to be. Let's get to the truth with SYXX and Soup. It's time to reorganize, rethink and regroup, reanalyze, see through the lies and reboot. Boots on the ground, it's going down for a redo. We gotta get connected, stop accepting what they telling, because what they selling ain't nothing but deception. It's time for the people to run an interception. It's time to understand, togetherness is the weapon. Anything less than that is just half-stepping. Open your third eye, receive this message. Community is unity. That's the blessing. Do you really want to get to the truth? That's the question.
Oh, some more
Go.
reactions.
SYXX and Soup. More fucking Pizzagate shit going on, you guys. Epstein files. 3.5 million fucking files.
And Voidzilla.
I don't know Voidzilla, but Voidzilla, we about to watch a video.
The FBI just dropped 3.5 million files, and it is incredible. Huge bombshells about some of the most powerful people on the planet. I can't believe they let some of this stuff out. I mean, it is stunning. Honestly, one of the biggest lies we've seen is the idea that the FBI could possibly come to us and say, not only is there not a client list,
I don't know if he's about to talk about it, but I heard that Bill Gates likes to fuck Russian prostitutes, and he ended up getting some STDs from it.
Really?
That's probably a reason why his wife left him. Because he was probably hanging out with Epstein, doing all that fuck shit, and bringing home diseases. And she was like, "I had enough."
Yeah, you can't bring you can't bring home no diseases. What the fuck?
I'm sure she was okay with all the child fucking he was doing.
Yeah, but
bringing home a disease to her, she had enough.
Yeah, she had to be gone. Deuces. Sorry, Billy Gates.
Evidence that Epstein blackmailed prominent individuals. Guys, we're about to see planned blackmail to one of the most powerful people on the planet, and that is Bill Gates. Listen, there's a lot we're going to get to, but we have
Billy
to start
Boy,
probably
Billy Bathwater.
This is Jeffrey Epstein emailing himself about Bill Gates. Now, if you don't know, Bill Gates and Epstein had a relationship post-2008. That's a big year. We're going to hear a lot today, because 2008 was the time that Epstein pled guilty for soliciting of somebody under the age of 18. He was a predator at this point. Everybody knew it. Now, eventually, Bill Gates would get divorced when all of this came out. Bill Gates said it was part of the direct cause for the divorce. She said she met Epstein and said he was evil.
He was evil personified.
So you have to understand.
Oh, you called it. Yeah, I didn't see none of that.
This is like Bill Gates' kryptonite. He's one of the richest men on the planet.
Well, she said some. She said some weird shit.
Has been a huge.
She didn't. The way she said it, she was like, she didn't get mad at him about it. Oh fuck, I can't remember exactly what she said, bro. But it was mad suspect, even out of her mouth, what she said. I wish they would play the whole fucking thing. Maybe we should go find it. But go ahead.
Huge problem for him. And Epstein appears to have known that, because in 2013, Bill Gates appears to be distancing himself from Jeffrey Epstein. And Epstein seems to have a problem with that. He says, "I assume the dedication to our relation went both ways. Larry has now asked me to recommit to a confidentiality agreement." Basically, he's got to shut up about his relationship with Bill Gates. And this is where the blackmail starts. And it comes in the form of like, if I were you, I would do X. If I were the type of guy that you should.
Oh, she said she met Jeffrey Epstein and immediately knew he was a bad man and had nightmares about him.
Oh, damn. $100 million partnership for $30 million.
Shut up, bitch. No, you didn't.
That's what I would have done.
How do you know? Maybe she did. Maybe the man scared her to her bones.
Nah, she just knew what it was all about.
Had I been in your shoes. Then he lays out what he has on Bill Gates, or what he says he has. Quote,
she didn't just meet him and go, "Oh,
with tears in your
he's
eyes,
up to no good, this guy. I'm having nightmares."
Your request that I provide you antibiotics that you could surreptitiously give to Melinda, and the description of your I mean, this is insane. It's completely insane. It's like basically laying out in text form, I would give me millions of dollars, and I can't believe you're asking me to delete the message where you were going to give STD medication to your wife without her knowledge. I mean, it's crazy. It's just completely obvious what he's doing here. It's just a nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Here's what you should do. But now that coming out after Epstein's death, this looks really bad for Gates, obviously, because...
What else do you think he should do? Admit to it? No, you deny.
It's right there. You can't deny it.
You usually wouldn't
Deny.
blackmail somebody for something that's completely false or fake. I mean, maybe he did that. But we also know Bill Gates had affairs. Obviously, Melinda credits it for their divorce.
So it could
so it's
be
hard
fake.
to believe there was nothing sketchy going on. Bill Gates, of course, maintains that it was completely
knew she was
above
getting
board. He
hacked.
says
She
the
didn't
fact
care.
this allegation was in here just shows how much Epstein was willing to defame people. But Epstein lays it out. He says he helped Bill get drugs in order to deal with the consequences of sex with Russian girls, facilitating his illicit trysts with married women, and to being asked to provide Adderall for bridge tournaments. Look, guys, this is exactly what we suspected the whole time. Epstein was providing services to rich people and expecting payment via blackmail. Now you might say, and it's true, that we don't know that Epstein ultimately sent that version of an email to Gates. All we know is he sent that to himself. He may have planned the blackmail and just been drafting something. But what we do know are two things. The Wall Street Journal has reported that Gates was threatened by Epstein over an affair. We also know that after this blackmail email Jeffrey sent to himself was written, eventually Gates sent a $2 million donation to MIT directed by Jeffrey Epstein, which is a bit weird if you had distanced yourself from the guy and y'all had this big falling out. Now again, do we know for sure that Bill Gates did all of that? No, of course we don't. But do I
You're loving the fact that he went after Billy Gates first, huh?
Billy Bathwaters, hell yeah.
See the sacrifice?
Let's
think
get
Bill
him
Gates
out
was
of
looking
here.
for charity advice
Now let's
from
get Fauci.
after he already pled guilty? No, I
So
don't.
no,
I'm
we gotta
sorry.
get Bill
I'm not
Gates
that
on
gullible.
something.
And speaking of not that gullible, we've been
Needs
lied
to go
to
to
also
jail.
by another richest guy on the planet. Geez, it's a shock why they don't want to put this out. Elon Musk, who has been saying for years that it is a lie that he went to Epstein's island. In fact, he says he refused to go. From Elon, he says, Epstein tried to get me to go to his island. I refused. He says, anyone pushing this false narrative deserves complete contempt. Later responding to another headline, which said Elon Musk planned trip to Epstein's private island. And he says, this is false. But of course, we start to dig through the files and we can see on Epstein's calendar that Elon Musk is booked in December 6th of 2014. But maybe you don't believe that. That's just the word of Jeffrey Epstein.
But just because he booked them and asked them to go
Doesn't mean
he went. He says he denied the request.
Deny.
He denied the request.
Maybe
But then
you'll
he's seen
believe
in
the
that
word of
picture
Elon
with
Musk, who
Ghislaine.
was caught
Oh.
emailing Jeffrey Epstein to go to his island post the guilty plea. Elon Musk writes, we'll be in BVI St. Bart's area over the holidays. Good time to visit. Jeffrey Epstein says, I will send a heli for you. Later, Elon Musk writes to Epstein, probably just to Lula and me, his ex-wife, what day night would be the wildest party on your island? The world's richest man is asking the most vile man for the wildest party on his island. And then it gets more explicit. In 2012, remember, this is a guy who said, I refused and I could never do that, right? It's false. But here in 2012, he says, do you have any
I hope
parties
people
planned?
stop
I'm
liking
working to
him.
the edge of my sanity
That's
this
what
year. I
happens
really want to
when
hit
you
the
go
party
against
scene in
Trump.
St. Bart's or elsewhere and let loose. The invitation is much appreciated, but a peaceful island
Why
experience
Trump's
is the
not on
opposite
the
of what
list?
I'm looking for. Guys, he can't even play
I don't know, but
I went to go
Elon's
study math
second to
excuse,
Billy Gates.
which is what all these guys do. They say, hey, I just went to go talk to scientists. Elon's like, hey, I don't want to do that. I'm looking for a party. That's what
Well,
I'm
this is
here to
worse
do.
than Bill-
And then
Bill
Jeffrey
Gates.
Epstein writes, understood, I will see you on St. Barth. The ratio on my island might make your ex-wife uncomfortable. I can't believe these guys are lying to us and people are swallowing it still, thinking that Elon Musk had nothing to do with this guy. So again, that's 2012. That's 2014. But guess what?
What
There's
ratio is he
another time
talking
in
about?
2013. I mean, this seems like a yearly thing
Women
with the
and
boys.
men?
Here, once again,
Nah.
Elon Musk writes, we'll be in the BVI St. Bart's area
Child
over the
to
holidays.
adult.
Again, is there a good time to visit?
Oh,
Jeffrey Epstein, any day, 1st of the 8th, play by ear if you want, always space for you. They then plan some more, and you might think, well, if Elon ever told the truth, this is when he has to reject, right? Because he said, I refused. But actually, it appears to be one of those cases where, like, your friend says, like, oh, bro, I dumped her.
It's like, I don't think he was throwing
Yeah, it turns out
parties
Elon
like
didn't dump
that,
the
but
well, the dumped Elon. He says, bad news.
Probably a woman
Unfortunately,
to
my
man.
schedule will keep me in New York. Hopefully, we can schedule another time in the future. Jeffrey Epstein let Elon down. That's actually the real story. Is the reason he didn't go in 2013 was because he couldn't go. Jeffrey Epstein was not there. Guys, I mean, how blatant do they have to make it before we start to just see through it, right? When they issue these ridiculous denials, they're totally associated with the guy after the guilty plea. They lie through their teeth, but they can't even keep their story straight. I mean, that's what's crazy. They're not even competent at this. They get caught in their own lies all the time.
Yeah.
Remember, the FBI's official story was they didn't blackmail. Well, before
That's facts.
lies on lies on lies. But that's what happens.
Can't remember them all.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
keep denying, but your
we even had these
denials
files,
add up
Howard
too.
Lutnick was on the record calling Jeffrey Epstein the greatest blackmailer ever.
So how come Bill Gates and all these other people could hang around him and not see what you saw? Or did they see it and ignore it? Or
No, they participated.
right.
That's what his MO was. Get a massage, get a massage.
Who's
And what
this
happened
guy?
in that massage room, I assume was on video.
I don't know.
This
He's
guy was the
telling us.
greatest blackmailer ever.
Interesting. Okay, so Howard has a different perspective. Now, if you don't know, that guy Do you think he's just telling the truth there? Even this guy who's contradicting the official narrative, this guy literally lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. This guy was like, I'm gonna tell the truth. Those guys participated. That guy lived next to Jeffrey Epstein. And by the way, he lied too. I love this video we're about to get into because this guy, Mr. He's the greatest blackmailer ever, does he know something we don't know? Because it's interesting, Mr. I'm his neighbor had to also explain how he had nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. And he lays it out pretty simply. He goes, yeah, I live next to him. But
Exactly. You're on this island, bro.
I'm his neighbor, but
And how do you know what's going on behind the walls, bro? Fuck you talking about? You know they participated. How do you know?
Because he was at one barbecue. He saw some.
in 2005, I had such a horrible experience that I knew I could never talk to him again.
He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
We move in 2005. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 08, I think, or something.
Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. And there's a massage table in the middle of the room. Massage table in the middle of your house? How often do you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he like gets like weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the
Is he lying or telling the truth?
And we left. He's lying.
You think he's lying?
He's lying. Big time.
6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house.
Because who is
to
he?
my house.
How's he
My
how's
wife
he
and I
afford
decided
that house on that
I will
island?
never be in the room with that disgusting person
What does he
ever
do?
again.
Well, he couldn't be more
Big time
clear,
lies.
could he, right? He says, hey, I may have been his next door neighbor, but I met him once before the 2008 guilty plea. Remember I said that was a big deal? And we got invited over, and it was like 5 seconds, and we left, and we realized he was a creep. We were out of there. He made this rude, lewd comment in front of my wife. I would never go see this guy. I mean, he makes it super clear he's gross.
So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because
So he's a philanthropist.
These other guys, they may have participated.
they participate.
What's his
But Howard
businesses?
Lutnick, he could never.
He's
No,
in on it.
he's too good of a guy. Well, guess what we found in the old emails? Looky. It's Howard Lutnick writing in to Jeffy Boy in 2012. Hi, Jeff. We're landing in St. Thomas early afternoon, planning to head over. Where are you located?
Oh, damn.
What's the exact location for my
damn.
captain? Does Sunday evening for dinner sound good? Is this the guy you said made a lewd comment to your wife? And, oh, I could never be in front of him. He's gross.
Oh.
Guess what the next email is? My boy's wife messaging in, saying we're headed towards you in St. Thomas. Later, the subject line, Jeffrey Epstein. Good morning, Howard. Jeffrey wished me to pass you along. Nice seeing you. They clearly met, and the guy is just lying about it to your face, to the American public's face, and they tried to hide it from us. I cannot emphasize this enough. They're lying through their teeth. You think this guy perfectly remembers a 2005, like walking in the guy's house? I remember exactly what I said to him.
If that was true, yeah, I think he would remember.
Yeah, if it was that awkward to him that he left, definitely.
My wife and I looked at each other, and he wouldn't remember the
Especially if
2012.
your wife
I
gives you a
boated
dirty
over to
look.
his private island for a dinner. Is that what we're really thinking? Is that what we're
Yeah, this
expecting to
guy.
believe? This is a momentary lapse in his
I
judgment.
like that he's
No,
going
these
through
guys
these
don't even
files,
care about
but
being consistent,
I
and they're
don't
all
care for
throwing
his
each other under the
opinion.
bus. Don't you remember Elon Musk saying the time to drop the really big bomb? Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they haven't been made public. My guy,
Have a nice
you
day.
also are in the Epstein files, very clearly doing stuff you lied about. Okay, so is Howard Lutnick, who says, yeah, Bill Gates, he's probably getting blackmailed because he participated. What did you do on the island over in 2012, Howard? Do we know that? I mean, does anyone care? Now, the last thing I want to talk about is some of the most explosive stuff. It's also, again, I have to say, unverified, okay? This is the NTOC, the FBI's National Threat Operations Center. And the challenge with confirming some of this is that these are anonymous tips, or they black them out at least, so we don't know who they are, and anyone can drop a tip. Now, that doesn't mean that you should disregard them. It just means we can't verify them. The other challenge is that the FBI has a heavy incentive to discredit anything with Donald Trump in it, just because he's in the White House right now, obviously. And so I want to be clear, there are notes related to some of these submissions where they say things like complainant was spoken to and deemed not credible. Additional research showed 3 separate redacted. You know, it's hard to tell how much this is the proper due diligence of the FBI, which they should be doing, of course, and not all complaints are credible. But also there's this obvious conflict of interest with the fact that the sitting president is in some of these complaints. But here
They're only going to put out who they want to put out.
Yeah.
It looks like the sacrifices of Bill
Or
Gates
for what
and
it's
Elon
worth.
Musk.
Complaint summary. Blank reported an unidentified female friend who was forced to perform on President Trump approximately 35 years ago in New Jersey. The friend told Alexis
Yeah, I
that
heard
she was
about this
approximately
one.
13 to 14 years old when this occurred, and the friend allegedly bit President Trump while performing. The friend was allegedly hit in the face after she laughed about biting President Trump. The friend also said she was abused by Epstein. Later, there's very explosive claims about big parties with her, other younger girls, and older Victoria's Secret models, including Bill Clinton and Donald Trump.
I think
There's
she didn't
claims
really bite him.
third-hand
She
about
just
female
used her
victim of
teeth
Epstein's
because she
who
was a
shaped
fucking
books,
molest
Leslie
kid.
Wexner, Epstein,
And then he
Bill
smacked
Clinton,
her.
Donald Trump,
He
Ghislaine
probably
Maxwell
smacked
is in
them
the videos
both
as
up.
well. And it goes on like this for a while. Some of the complaints are just like very graphic, and obviously I'm going to censor out some of it. But I should also mention the DOJ claims that some of these claims were submitted to the FBI right before the 2020 election. To be clear, the claims are unfounded and false, and if they had any shred of credibility, they would have certainly been weaponized against President Trump already. Now, I agree that if a complaint is timed right before an election, there definitely could be some other motivations to that, but it's also ridiculous to say that anything in the Epstein files, if it were true, would have come out already, because why didn't we see the stuff about Bill Gates, for example? I mean, that stuff apparently has been sitting in here for a long time. And not only did no one talk about it, the FBI literally covered for it. I mean, they said that this
I want
was
him to
not
get
the case.
pied
There are claims
again
against a
so
lot of powerful
bad.
people. Nobody in
Oh,
that
he probably
file
won't
really
let
wants to
himself
rock
be
the
out
boat or
public.
release the files, because then they get in trouble
done.
and their buddies get in trouble, and that's a huge problem. So I don't really buy the idea that, oh, if it were true, it would have already gotten out. I don't buy that. That's why we need transparency. That's
What if
why
I said
the
a lead
files are out.
pie?
But this is just to look at a small fraction of the file. And over the next few weeks, we're going to go through all of the major
You wanna-
findings we
you
can
wanna-
from this 3.5
you wanna
million
devil's
page document.
cufflinks
But
to the
seriously, think
face,
about
huh?
it.
No,
How
a
discrediting
lead
this has been, not
pie,
only to
you
this administration,
know,
but
maybe
to
a little
so
lead
many rich and
poisoning if
powerful
he
people
doesn't
who have lied
wash it
through their
off
teeth
fast enough.
happily towards you in order to hide their relationship with this man
That
that
kind of
many
lead
of them
pie.
held post-guilty plea. And some of them, now we know, Epstein prepared blackmail for them and, according to reports, threatened. The FBI just dropped 3...
Oh, thank you very
That
much.
video just ended very abrupt.
He broke it down for us.
Some of it, I don't like his point of view on it and stuff, but
But I know you loved it that Billy Gates was first. Come on.
Billy Bathwaters has got to
A
go
minute.
down, bro. He's making mosquitoes and he's fucking making fake meat. He's making vaccines. He's buying up farms and shutting them down and buying farmland so there can't be farms there. And you got to eat his meat. Oh, he's
Which
in,
is dead people, right?
bro. Well, no, because his meat is lab created. It's not. It's fucking made out of fucking science. And then
Oh,
he's
okay.
also got. Hold on. He's also got.
3D printed meat.
Well, that too, but no. I don't know which ones he's in on. I think he's in on the lab created, which might be the 3D printed. But he's also in on the company that's processing all the insects, so that we can eat it.
Oh.
Yeah, he's in on that. He's a
Okay.
piece of trash.
Well, that's
Deuce,
it.
deuce.
On Billy Gates. Peace out.
Do you want to know? Are you sure you want to know? Cause the truth ain't always what it seems to be. Let's get to the truth with SYXX and Soup. It's time to reorganize, rethink and regroup, reanalyze, see through the lies and reboot. Boots on the ground, it's going down for a redo. We gotta get connected, stop accepting what they telling, because what they selling ain't nothing but deception. It's time for the people to run an interception. It's time to understand, togetherness is the weapon. Anything less than that is just half-stepping. Open your third eye, receive this message. Community is unity. That's the blessing. Do you really want to get to the truth? That's the question.